Welcome on in here to Wager Talk Extra. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, talking here with Kevin Dolan and Kyle Anthony, a little combat edition here to end the week on Wager Talk Extra. But Kevin Dolan also going to sprinkle in a little soccer free play for you. He's got a boxing fight to break down. And then Kyle Anthony going to be breaking down this weekend's the main event in UFC. And then he's also got a fight to watch that he'll be getting into here. So, Kevin, I say we waste no time and talk a little soccer before we turn things inside of the ring. And you want to go to Norway for this one. What are you breaking down?
Yeah, going up to Norway for this one. Two teams at opposite ends of the table clashing this weekend. And despite where both teams sit in the table right now, I actually think there's some decent value in backing the underdog in this one between Molde and Valerenga to, what should be a good game. So, yeah, let's break it down.
You know, I'm always intrigued when I see a plus next to the name or the odds of the team that we're backing. So why do we like the dog in this one, and who are we betting?
Well, as I said at the top there, a quick look at the table would tell you Molde are flying high right now in the table. Valerenga are obviously struggling, but that's not the case when you dig under the hood a little bit with these two teams, analyse both of these teams' numbers. Valerenga's last 3 league home games all came against top teams in the division. First place, Bodo Glimt. Third place, Viking, along with 7th place, Strømsgodset set as well. But despite that tough schedule, Valerenga actually owned a massive 4.75 to 3.36 XG advantage across those 3 games combined, effectively 60% of all the chances in the game. So they have been getting unlucky in games of late, but their numbers remain strong. And they're facing a Molde side this weekend who just haven't been as good on the road as they have been at home this year. Molde have won just 2 games away from home all season. The defensive XGA numbers have dropped off considerably as well, giving up a massive 0.7 expected goals against more to opponents per game on the road this season than they have at home. So I'm quite happy to step in here, kind of book the table and take the home side Valerenga in this one, getting a plus half goal head start on Saturday against Molde.
Oh, I love the little positive expected value right there. A little positive regression potentially for Valerenga. Breaking down the XG, my man Kevin Dolan. All right, your first true love. You're wearing the heavy hitters hats. We got to talk a little boxing here. And we got Martin taking on Harutyunyan. I guess that's how we're going to be dropping this one in here. But how are we at least looking at this fight? Because I think you said one of the fighters hasn't even left his home country yet.
That's true, and to be honest, your pronunciation's as good as mine, Dan. The ghost Frank Martin takes on undefeated former Olympic bronze medalist Artem Harutyunyan this weekend over in Las Vegas. As you said, he's never fought outside of Germany, but this should be a crack of a fight. I've been a fan of Frank Martin for a long time now. I actually had one of my biggest winners of the whole of last year in boxing on him when I took him straight up to beat Michel Rivera last December. That was supposed to be a competitive fight. Odds found it very hard to separate either fighter going into that one, but Frank Martin put on an absolute clinic in that one, put a beating on him, had him down in that fight as well, won a wide points decision. But I am expecting him, to have a slightly tougher time this weekend against a very underrated fighter in Harutyunyan on Saturday.
So he'll be like clipping his heels and saying, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Get me back to Germany. Is that the way that we're going to be betting this? Are we just taking Martin outright, or is that price a little too rich for your taste?
Way too. Look, I'm a big fan of Martin, but minus 1,400, I can't lay that. That's just way too wide for me. But, I do, look, like I said at the start, I'm a huge fan of Frank Martin. I believe he's a real problem for anybody at 135 right now. I just think these odds are obviously, way off base. He should be favoured, but this is a massive price against a fighter who I expect to be a real problem for him on Saturday. Harutyunyan isn't a known commodity in the USA. As we said, he's Armenian, German. He's never fought in the States before. He's never fought outside of his adopted country of Germany, but he has got talent. He's got that Olympic pedigree, as we mentioned at the top. He employs, he's got good combinations in fight. He's got power in both hands as well, especially in that overhand right. But just as he showed against Humberto Galindo last time out, also that left hook to the body has power in it as well. So he's a very, well-schooled, versatile fighter. He does push the tempo a little bit too much in fights for my liking. That could be key here, especially with his extended layoff. He hasn't fought since last June, I believe. So Frank Martin potentially has the ability to walk him onto something big if he's running low on the gas tank in the latter part of this fight. But overall, you know, while I do expect Frank Martin to win this fight on Saturday, I don't believe it'll be easy by any stretch. And they expect the Armenian to give him some real work on this one. So odds are heavily favouring a KO this weekend. I don't necessarily agree with that, although if it comes, if you want to sprinkle some money, it'll come late most probably. So you can take a piece of that 9-12 action. But overall, I think Harutyunyan can stick around this fight. I think he'll give Frank Martin all kinds of issues. So I'm quite happy to take a piece of Frank Martin to win this one by decision on Saturday, getting a healthy plus 200 for that.
Yeah, and I like how you also still needed to sneak in. Hey, there might be a round bet here for you. I know that you love those round bets, and it's funny as you were chatting there, and I saw your WagerTalk screen pop up across. I guess even here on WagerTalk Extra, we are not immune to knowing that football season is right around the corner, and you have one hell of a deal for folks. You're number 2 in college football totals all time, and they can get the college football season for free if they ride with you in NFL. Tell the folks about that.
Yeah, it's a great deal up right now, Dan. Ahead, as you said, ahead of the approaching football seasons. Basically, you can get my entire college football season completely free, no cost. And as you mentioned, number 2 college football totals leader all time at WagerTalk since joining all the way back in 2018. We have had a great one. We're up plus 146.1 units banked over my last 226 college football top plays as well, 4 or 5%. So college football has obviously been incredibly good to us. You can pair that up with NFL by picking up the NFL plus CFB early bird season combo offer up right now at my page. Enter the code CFB free, CFBFREE. That knocks $300 off the listed price, effectively making the college football season free. And obviously, you get NFL as part of that deal too. Number 2 NFL profit leader since November 1st. We had an absolutely huge playoffs in 2022. Obviously, looking for more of the same this year as well. So, yeah, looking forward to another monster year on the gridiron.
Yeah, number 2 college football totals all time, and you might not believe it, but he doesn't just bet Fighting Irish games. He bets all the college football games on the board. I had to, Kev. Always a pleasure talking to you, brother. We love having you on. Check him out, wt.buzz/KD. We're going to step aside. Kyle Anthony's going to get you ready to go for UFC this weekend right after this on WagerTalk Extra. Welcome on back here to WagerTalk Extra. We're not done yet for the week. We got my man Kyle Anthony coming on, presumably with some plus money chickens for the folks. He loves them, and he's even got a 5% plus money play up right now at his page. But let's get right into the main event. It's Holm taking on Bueno Silva, and I'm wondering, Holm around 170 favorite, take back on Silva, looking at around plus 145. You can shop around on those two, but how's Kyle Anthony breaking this down? Because I always want to know the number 1 profit guy, what he's thinking when we're talking MMA. So what about this main event, brother?
Yeah, man. So we got a lot to talk about here. It's an interesting main event overall. Like you said, Holm minus 170 on the comeback here. We've got Mayra Bueno Silva plus 145. Now, Holm, she is a former world champion. She is the elite level kickboxer we all know and love. On the other side here, Mayra Bueno Silva, more of a traditional Muay Thai fighter, has submission ability. Now, when you're looking at Holm, though, she's in a position where we all remember the kickboxing, but she has truly adapted her style to really changing a little bit for longevity of her career. She's now 41 years old, and she started now to do a little bit more grinding, a little bit more up against the fence, a little bit more cage pushing. That has helped her tremendously bank rounds over her last few fights, over a lot more than the last few fights, going out there and just doing what she needs to do, whether she's either all the way in or all the way out, meaning she's either all the way in, got you up against the fence, pushing you there, keeping you there, or she's all the way out and she's working her great kickboxing, working her footwork. All of those things really do pile up very well against somebody like Mayra Bueno Silva. And on the other side of this thing is the cardio situation here, where Mayra Bueno Silva, not really known for the cardio. We've seen some suspect things out out of her. Where not long ago she fought Wu Yanan, which was a action fight, definitely an action fight, but she was really tailing off in that third round, got the victory, but things really started to tick down for her. You've got somebody like Holly Holm who really has the ability to push the pace, push forward, land the big shots, really kind of get on you. And again, she can grind on her a little bit, hold her a little bit, keep her there a little bit, and that's going to start to push things towards where you got Holly Holm, because I don't think Bueno Silva has the ability to keep that pace, keep that opportunity to just trade with her. Volume is really going to be favoring Holly Holm in this spot. But also you look at the footwork and the distance management of Holly Holm. That really is going to do a lot of great things for her, because Bueno Silva, again, she's more of the traditional Muay Thai fighter. She's going to be digging very deep, looking to throw the big overhands. She has that ability to look for submissions, but not very good takedown ability. And again, the distance management and footwork of Holly Holm really is going to be very difficult landscape to cut distance, get inside, get her hands on Holly Holm, where Holly may be looking for the takedown. We've seen Bueno Silva look a little bit susceptible to getting up. Although she has ability to submissions, getting up, getting off her back. Holly is looking to bank rounds. That's really where she has found a lot of success, banking the rounds, utilizing some of that. But if you look over her career here, over the last 10 fights, 8 went to the decision. So she is not somebody that's going out there lighting people up. I know we all remember Holly Holm, knocking out Ronda Rousey. That was back in 2015. And prior to that, her most recent knockout was back in 2017 against Batch Kohea, who was basically a punching bag. This is not the case here. I think this is going to be Holly Holm pushing forward. I think this minus 170 number is actually short. I think that's still a pretty good price. I think all of this really goes towards her. But I do like Holly Holm via points, plus 120. I think it really makes sense. It's our most likely path. And I think she goes out there and gets the victory in the main event.
Man, I love the reference of that knockout. I remember how huge that fight was. Like, Ronda Rousey was the side. Like you could argue without Ronda Rousey, does the UFC women's division have the appeal that it does? She was the fighter. And yeah, I remember watching that fight live. That was right when I graduated college, and you can see all this gray hair that I got. So that was a while ago. Real nice. That was a while ago. Yeah, that was a while ago. All right. You also have a fight to watch here for the folks. And I'm wondering how you're going to be breaking this one down.
So we have Melsik Baghdasaryan. He's going to be minus 150. On the comeback here, you've got Tucker Lutz. He's plus 125. And this is a spot here where Baghdasaryan, he is a kickboxer, explosive, can move forward, big, strong guy. On the other side here, you've got Tucker Lutz, more of a compact fighter, counter striker, and also he does have the wrestling. Now you're looking at this fight here. This line opened Baghdasaryan minus 210. The money has come in on Lutz now. It's now down to minus 150, 160. To me, that's really an overreaction to Melsik's last fight against Josh Kulabau, where he was winning the fight. He was doing all the right things, going out there, outlanding. Melsik was looking like he was on his way to a nice victory. The first round and a half, all him, lighting up Josh. And then he throws one kick, stumbles. Kulabau somehow, literally, as Melsik's falling, latches in a choke, gets that submission finish. And I really believe a lot of people look at this as the path. Lutz has the grappling, has some wrestling. It's not his main path. It's not like he is this submission guy. It's not like he's this Mr. I'm going to hold you down and keep you there. He's a lay and pray guy. If he gets you down there, very limited when it comes to just weapons, what he can do. And you look at it, 12 wins for Lutz, only 2 by submission. That was back in 2016 and 2017. So if that's going to be his main path to get down the kickboxer, I don't really think he has the ability to do that. He's not very slick on the ground. And I think Melsik can get up and do certain things. And I think the biggest thing for Melsik is going to be his distance management, is going to be his footwork, where he can work on the outside. We saw what he did with Kulabau, keeping distance and just firing these big shots. Also, if this stays on the feet, this is going to be a bad night for Lutz, because Lutz doesn't really offer up too much when it comes to striking. Again, he's hittable. He's there to be hit. He's also willing to be in the pocket and exchange. I think that's kind of crazy, because he does not have the striking ability of many of the guys that he does fight. So this is a spot here where the stance switching of Melsik, I think from southpaw to orthodox, disguises some of these opportunities to throw his strikes. Also, Melsik is a southpaw, and you've got Lutz, who is orthodox. That body kick is going to be there, and look out for it. It's going to be there all night. I think he's going to really pile up the damage. I don't agree with this line movement. Now we're getting a way better price on a guy that I think should be around a minus 200 favorite. So you're getting minus 150. I like that price. You could maybe see this tilt down a little bit more as the market moves, but I like minus 150 on Melsik to get the job done.
Yeah, I should have just stuck with Melsik. That probably would have been the better way to do it. A little bit easier to pronounce there. No hyphens needed for my pronunciation guide. So we're laying the minus 150, and honestly, not too bad of a price. And as we know well, you're only eating the chalk when the play loses, and Kyle Anthony doesn't do much of that. 6 of the 8 last UFC events he's cashed in, just hit a plus 174% play. So what did you follow that up, Kyle, with? You were like, give me another plus money, and I think this one's a 5%er, right?
Yeah. So another great spot here. And again, the high-level cards, we love them. We love talking about them, and we love getting involved in them. But there's always UFC. There's like 6 weekends of the entire year there's no UFC. So there's always places to put our money in strong positions. This weekend is no different. 5% max play at plus money. Really love it. Nice straight wager for you. And also have 2 other plays in there. We'll probably have about 4 or 5. So let's keep cashing, man. It feels good. It's been a good summer.
Absolutely. And let's keep the summer going. And I love that out of my man, Kyle Anthony. Go grab that play right now. 5%er. They've definitely been a profit maker since Kyle's been with WagerTalk. And big thanks to him. Big thanks to Kevin Dolan getting you all ready to go here for some boxing and soccer action. Don't forget, for KD, use that code CFB free. Get the college football season completely free. You get his NFL as well. You can go check that out at his page at wt.buzz/KD. That's going to do it for us here on another edition of WagerTalk Extra. We will be back locked and loaded. I've been your host, Dan Alexander, and we'll talk to you next time. A little extra money in our pocket right here on WagerTalk Extra.